My name is Michelle, and I'm from York, Pennsylvania. My son's diagnosis is POTS syndrome, and he developed that after he contracted Lyme disease. Nobody knew what POTS syndrome was. He was undiagnosed for a year, and then he was diagnosed finally with POTS syndrome. His symptoms were many. Really severe fatigue. He would have times where he would just become very diaphoretic, just sweating profusely, white as a ghost, feel very, very dizzy. I would take his blood pressure. It would be extremely low, like 60/30, but his heart rate was like 180. And I was told to just give him salt, and he was probably dehydrated to increase the fluids. We did all of that. Then it became more severe with nausea, vomiting at times. He was just miserable. He couldn't move. You couldn't touch him. The fatigue was extremely bad, to the point where he would walk up the steps and we thought he went up to his room, but he was sound asleep on the steps. So it was very bad. Sean's symptoms have improved immensely, like for the better. When we first got here, the first day of treatment, Monday, when we started, we brought him home or brought him back to the hotel. We didn't know who he was. He had so much more energy. He was more patient. He wasn't that irritable. He just kept going and going. And it wasn't just because we were in a new environment. We went to the grocery store. He was able to walk around the grocery store without getting sick. There were a few times that he actually stopped, and normally at those times when we're walking around a store to stop, he would say, I'm dizzy, I have to stop. And then it was that I can't do this. He was dizzy, he stopped, and then I saw him breathe. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing? But that's what he was taking what you guys taught him in that one day with him. And he was able to walk around Sam's Club. That, to me, as a mom, is amazing. And his grandmother was with us, and we were just like, who is he? So his symptoms after one day of this treatment have improved immensely. Now that we're on our last day of treatment, it is truly amazing, because the past 2 days we were actually able to, we went golfing. We haven't been able to do that as a family, like miniature golf. Just those little things we weren't able to do as a family, because our family revolved around his sickness. He was too tired to do things to keep up with us. Now he has that energy, fun, and for us as a family to have fun, it's amazing. He's able to do things. He's able to walk up the steps and not take elevators. So yay. Many of his symptoms have improved throughout this program. He's not as dizzy as he is, or as he has been. When he came here, I believe he rated his dizziness as a 7. He's now a 0. He has not been dizzy. Which I have goosebumps right now just saying that, because it's scary, when your child is dizzy. The tachycardia, he's been in the 70s and the 80s in his heart rate, which is amazing for him. Coming from a child who was 180, 200 with their heart rate, that, I'm sorry, is amazing. So to see that improvement with the tachycardia is just beyond amazing. His headache has really improved. I know now he's down to like a 2. Amen. Okay, to be honest, our first impression, so much like when we got into the office, it was so relaxing going. It wasn't like a typical office. My first reaction, especially, and I know it sounds very weird, but the roses. A lot of times people don't pick up on the little things, but it just like the first thing in there in my head was, stop and smell the roses. Just stop. Like, you're there. It's not like another doctor's office. Like, you just go into signing your name, sit down. That's it. It was very welcoming. So my first impression of the office, and especially with the staff, very welcoming. And then we were like, okay, are we in the right place? We were just a little leery at first, but then it was amazing. Katie spoke to us, Andrea spoke to us, Dr. K came out. It was just like, wow. It was kind of like an immediate family. And it was amazing because it just wasn't, okay, what are your symptoms? Where we've been to many other different doctors' office. And other doctors' offices that we've been to makes it seem like it was our problem, like it really wasn't there. What we were saying, but you guys understood all of his diagnoses and his complaints of the headaches and the fatigue, and you understood. You didn't belittle him like a lot of other doctors have done that. I've been to some other neurologists that said, the way that you're describing your son's brain and the function of his brain should look like Swiss cheese. I've been told this, and we were lying about things, and it was all about Sean just lying. It wasn't. How can he fake his heart rate like that and his blood pressure? It just did not make sense. You guys understood everything. Sean felt so at home the first day he sat down in that big recliner, which he loves, by the way. So now I'm going to have to get one of those for at home. But he did. He loved it. He walked out of that office and he felt good. He didn't feel like somebody didn't believe him. And that was an amazing experience to feel good to walk out of. What I would want to say to everybody out there, do I have to say this without crying? I would say, as a mom with a child who has been chronically ill for 2 straight years, who was a football player, who was a soccer player since he was 2, my kid's back, and if any mom and dad out there wants to see their child just smile again and have some kind of hope, you've got to get this treatment, because you don't have to have POTS rule your life. You can take care of POTS. If any parent is out there that's skeptical, I'm telling you, you've got to just make the phone call. Just make the phone call. It could change your world. You have nothing to lose, nothing at all to lose, everything to gain. You can go mini golf it with your kid. And that, I'm sorry, is a huge step.